Hello everyone. As you might know from watching this channel, I'm a woodworker, but I'm also a struggling crappy artist who likes to paint. And as many of my fellow artist friends know, one of the challenges when finishing your painting is finding a good looking sexy frame for your art. Are you tired of going to a big box hobby store and paying prohibitively expensive prices for frames? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make your own beautiful frame at an even more beautiful, less expensive price. For this particular painting, instead of a wooden stretched canvas, I painted on a flat canvas panel. But if you're looking to learn how to frame a traditional canvas, the same processes I'm going to show you in this video will apply. So, I had this really old rough cut red oak that I wanted to make my frame out of. This particular frame is going to be for an 11 by 14 inch canvas panel, so I went ahead and cut my board to 15 inches long, which is 1 inch longer than the longest boards on my painting frame. I cut it a little longer than what I need to give a little room for error. Next, you can see me struggling to use a straight circular saw guide to create one straight edge on my board. Because this old oak is rough cut, it's about as straight as my close friend Heath. Go check out his drag shows he does. He does them on roller skates. It's quite impressive. Now that I have my big board cut and one edge of it straight, I'm going to use that straight edge to run against the fence of my incredibly old table saw to make 4 equally wide boards for my frame. In this case, I want the pieces of wood on the frame to be 1 inch wide, so that's what I adjusted my table saw to. Keep in mind, when making a frame, you don't have to use rough cut wood and make your own boards out of one bigger board. You can just go to a lumber supplier like a normal person and buy individually pre-milled pieces of wood to make things a lot easier. I just like to make things hard on myself. Now that I have my 4 pieces of 1 inch thick wood, I need to bring those over to my thickness planer to make the wood as flat as possible. It is essential that all 4 parts of the frame are all the same thickness, as well as flat. Look at how beautiful this oak looks when it's all planed down. I literally could look at it all day. I kinda wanna marry it. So moving on, with a frame for a canvas panel, there has to be some place on the back side for the canvas panel to slide gently into. In my world, that's called me doing unspeakable things with your mom. But in the framing world, this is called a rabbet. It's essentially a little recess for your art to safely and securely sit in, and we can achieve this rabbet by using a L-shaped bit. So you take each of the 4 pieces of your frame and route one side of each board. This is what they're supposed to look like when you're finished doing that. Perfection. Now it's time to cut your sides of your frame to length. In my case, I have an 11 by 14 inch canvas panel. Since I want to make a simple frame that people as stupid as me can make, I'm not using 45-degree miters. I'm using butt joints, where 2 pieces of wood butt together at a 90-degree angle. Once again, just like me and your mom. It's considered the most simple joint. This is a portrait-oriented painting, so the longest sides of the frame are vertical, and the shorter sides on the top and bottom will fit into the vertical pieces. It helps to bring a spare canvas panel to the wood shop to help visualize and measure. Once all of the pieces of your frame are cut to length, it's time to sand to smoothness. I've referenced baby butt smoothness on some of my other videos on this channel, so that's what you want to aim for. For this frame, I'm using 220 grit fine sandpaper on my Corner Cat finish sander. You don't need to own electric sanders to do this. Regular sandpaper and some physical effort will produce the same result. So get out there and make a good workout out of it.
Let's get physical!
Now it's time to glue your frame together. Yay! When gluing up your frame, Titebond wood glue bonds very well. Make sure to spread your glue evenly on the joints you want to glue together, and then when you attach the joints, wipe any excess wood glue bukkake from the wood before it dries. Once again, using a spare canvas panel can help you to make sure your frame is fitting properly around your painting. Using clamps is also helpful during glue ups. Make sure to apply a small amount of pressure and not too much. After you've given your glue time to fully dry, take your frame and sand again. This step isn't entirely necessary, but I'm obsessed with having a very smooth finish on my frames. Having the wood smooth ensures that whatever finish you put on your frame will look good. When you're satisfied with the smoothness of your frame, flip it to the backside and mark the center of the top of the frame. Then attach a sawtooth hanger so your painting can hang up on the wall. Now it's time for selecting a finish for your frame. There are so many options, but I personally love the natural look of this red oak, so I decided to apply some Butcher Block mineral oil. This highlights the grain of the wood and brings out the natural coloring of the oak. A big plus is that the mineral oil moisturizes the wood, gives it a small sheen, and can be easily reapplied to the frame through the years as needed. And finally, the last part of this project is attaching your painting to the frame. Set your painting into the Rabbet and use 1/4 inch offset clips to hold the painting in place. One side of the offset clip is drilled into the wooden frame, and the side that is touching the painting applies pressure to the back side of the panel and holds the painting in place. If you are building a frame for a painting with a traditional wooden stretch canvas, then both sides of the offset clips would need to be screwed into the frame and into the wooden stretcher boards on the back side of the canvas. When drilling into your wooden frame, make sure to drill pilot holes so your wood doesn't crack while screwing. It would be a tragedy if your wood cracked while screwing. I'm not really sure if you can recover from something like that. And there you go. A simple, honest, beautiful frame for your painting.